as you can tell by my chirpy disposition, I've just come back from Amsterdam. I went to Amsterdam over the weekend with my good friend Bobby. Big up Bobby Long. We had an absolute blast over there. Maybe didn't go long enough. Maybe the trip itself was a bit too brutal because we're still feeling the after effects this week. But all in all, an absolutely stupendous trip that I can't wait to recap you on. Also got some stuff we need to talk about regarding Kanye and his apparent 3rd, 5th, 7th, 10th cancellation. We got some stuff concerning Iris Law. We've got some stuff concerning DJs. Some stuff concerning Berghain. And all those things in between. And trainers. And everything else. You know what you get at the #1 cultural commentary show on the planet. The Agostino Zinga Show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, first things first. So, this past weekend I was in Amsterdam. Amsterdam. Yeah. The Netherlands, eh? Huh? We were in the Netherlands. The city of Amsterdam over the weekend. Pretty fun time. Spent exactly 30 plus hours there. No accommodation. This has been a plan for a long time. The problem is the plan that we had to go to Amsterdam over the weekend was a plan that we made maybe in like 2018 or something like that. Whenever the last time is that we went to Primavera Sound. We were way younger, way more sprightly, way more energetic, and not so stuck in our ways, right? So that maybe that would have been a good plan to do it back then. But nowadays, as the years go by, things become a little bit harder. But I, for one, am glad I got it done. I, for one, am glad I scratched off my bucket list. I was wanting to do something like this for a while to test myself and to see if my body could handle going on like a little party tour, going on a little party trip where essentially I leave in the evening of a Friday. I arrive on the Friday night at this location, wherever it may be. I party all the way until Saturday morning and then get the first flight back on the Saturday morning. This time around, we did it on Saturday instead of Friday, but I've always wanted to do that. So I'm glad we did it anyway. And Amsterdam's a great place to do it at because Amsterdam isn't that far from London. It's only like an hour and 30 minutes, if that. No, it actually might be short. I think it might be an hour and 10. It's a very short plane journey. The train journey is a bit longer, but obviously on the plane it's way more comfortable. It's less stressful because that's something I realized at this trip. I did realize on this trip that there was a time when I was younger. I'm not sure if you guys are the same. When I was coming up in the scene, there was a lot of people who kind of made it early. The people who made it early were the ones who were working freelance, didn't have to work a shitty 9 to 5, didn't have to work retail. They were able to kind of fund their lifestyle based on the art that they were creating, right? Amazing, right? Or just based on their creativity, they could fund their lifestyle. And we were always jealous of them. I know I was anyway. I was like, bloody hell, man, I wish I could do that. And on top of that, they were able to fly around the world. They got invited to the bread and butters. They got invited to the, things similar to Complex Con, but that isn't Complex Con. They got invited to all the big festivals. They were attending all the fashion weeks. And they were always on planes. You're like, oh my God, man. I wish I could be on a plane as often as they are. I wish I could be traveling around the world as often as they are. And after a while, you know what you realize? When you get your own money. When you maybe get a fancy job. Maybe when you get a company card. Maybe your job allows you to travel around the world. You know what you realize? Traveling ain't that fun. Traveling ain't that fun. I think the only thing that I like about traveling is when you go backpacking. That time, that summer, I still kind of cherish, and I still probably think in the future I probably will do it again. That summer where I spent a few weeks in Nicaragua, in Honduras, visiting a friend of mine who was working out there for an NGO. I went and kind of, visited a place I probably would have never visited. She wasn't out there, and I got a chance to go on my first kind of solo trip. That was fucking fantastic, right? And that girl as well, big up her. Although I don't really speak to her that much anymore, she did a really good job in terms of throwing me in the deep end. I think when we got there, she didn't tell me that she's going to leave me alone for a long time and basically send me to Leon because she was living in another city. So she sent me to the main city called Leon, and I had to basically get there by myself on one of those, I think they're called chicken buses or something in Nicaragua. So that was good, right? Backpacking around Central America, fucking amazing. But I think the act of actually traveling is brutal. And I have to be honest, this trip made me have a lot of sympathy for professional DJs. Especially with my dreams and aspirations to become one. I think my dreams aspiration to become one is more so along the lines of, like, for lack of a better term, more of like a quote unquote influencer DJ, where you get to play fun club nights, but you're not really like a working DJ around the calendar. Because I don't think I'll be able to hack it. And I only say influencer DJ because that's the only way to kind of term them. I think I'm way better than that. But still, would I be able to handle the conventional gig that most people do, where they're opening, they're doing the first flipping Ibiza flipping openings, they're doing all the festivals, all the clubs? Probably not. Because that was only one day and I'm already dead. I can only imagine what it's like as a DJ. Maybe it's a bit different because you're obviously playing, you're not going to be as fucked up. Maybe you're not going to be on your feet as much. You're going to get a hotel. You're going to get taken out to dinner by the promoters and shit. It's a bit different. But I still think a DJ schedule is absolutely brutal. And we experienced it for one day and nearly killed both of us. It nearly killed us. Like arriving in Amsterdam at 5 p.m. or like 5 p.m., getting out of the flipping airport at 6, walking around the city up until 10 p.m., then going to the club at like 11, and then raving all the way until it closes, and then coming right back home was fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal. But I'm glad I did it. Amsterdam as a city, I have to be honest, I have to give Amsterdam as a city some respect. I was very naive. I thought Amsterdam was only about weed. I didn't really see any reason to go there because I'm not the biggest weed smoker. That's one of the things I kind of buck against when it comes to being stereotypically black. I don't eat fufu. I don't eat rice. I'm not a big pasta fan. And I'm also don't smoke weed. One of the weird things about me, I do not smoke weed. So when I do smoke weed, it's a bit of a madness, but I'm not running towards it. So I never really thought there'll be any interest in me going there. And of course, I'm not really interested in whorehouses, right? Or red light district. But obviously, naive Agostino, very narrow-minded Agostino, very ignorant Agostino, was very blown away and surprised by how beautiful the city is. Even at night, the city is gorgeous. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. Very picturesque. The complete opposite of Berlin, a place that I go to all the time for my techno tours and things. And I have to be honest, I might have to switch up my going out locations and maybe include some Amsterdam trips, because I've heard some people say, specifically on the Amsterdam rave subreddit, that Amsterdam actually might be a better location to rave than Berlin anyway. It's a lot more, from what I can understand when I went there, it's a lot less touristy, that's for sure. A lot of people that I bumped into in the club, big everybody I bumped into at Lofi, where Dixon was playing all night long. A lot of people I spoke to were either native people from Amsterdam or actually people from the Netherlands, which rarely happens when you're out in Berlin. When you're out in Berlin, it feels like you meet people from all over the world. Obviously, some of them live there, but mostly it feels like you're meeting tourists. Whereas in Amsterdam, I feel like I met a lot of people who were actually living out there, which is quite sick. But it was a really beautiful city. That's the thing that really captured my eyes. So beautiful. The houses especially. I mentioned this on flipping random show. It's really interesting. Places in Europe where they don't have curtains. They don't have blinds really. They have their windows just barely, basically bare, so you can see right through their homes. And it was a real pleasure because you got to see how beautiful some of these homes were in Amsterdam, especially the ones along the canal. Extremely high ceilings, beams everywhere, wooden walls, amazing artwork on the walls, sculpture on the tables, sculptures on the fucking nightstand, on the nightstands, cabinet things, whatever it may be. Just incredibly well decorated and beautiful flipping homes. So that was great to see. So much so that there was one guy actually invited us to go into his house to kind of have a bit of a tour. Well, we're running late to go to Lofi, so we passed, but I kind of wish we kind of went in there now, just so I could have seen it with my own eyes. But it was a fucking beautiful city. And everybody there was lovely too, to be honest. I do like the Dutch way of the Dutch manner of speaking. They look like they're going to be cunts, but they're also very kind and sweet, but they're also not full of pleasantries like we are in the UK. In the UK, we kind of overdo it with the, yeah, thanks, okay, you're right, yeah, mate, all good, all thanks. Like, we overdo it with the fucking pleasantries. They're very to the point, but it's not because they're being mean. It's more so an economy of words. Like, why would I use 10 words if I can use 2? And we don't do that. We love to fucking rattle on, as you can tell with me. We love the fucking sound of our own voice. So it was quite good to be somewhere where people spoke to you in that kind of manner. And they were really nice in general, I think. Way nicer, I would say, than the people in Berlin. Especially scene people. I think the scene people in Amsterdam are way nicer. And I mean scene, I mean like the techno scene, rave scene, house scene, whatever you're going to call it, nightlife scene. The people there are way nicer. than the people in Berlin. That's for sure. I think the Berlin people are like similar to London people, to be fair to them, in that they might appear stuck up, anyways. But once you get talking to them, they're alright. But you have to make the first move. And because I'm way, you know, most of us anyway have a bit of ego, have a bit of pride. It's hard to make that first move. You don't want to feel like a beg. But usually, especially in London, I always say to people, London scene can seem very cliquey. But if you walk over to that clique and introduce yourself, usually everyone's safe. It's just you have to introduce yourself first of all. You have to go over to a clique of table of people who have their backs turned to you, who clearly are doing their own thing, and say hi, introduce yourself. That's very nerve-wracking. But I found that in other places, especially like I went to in Amsterdam in Netherlands, they were really hospitable, really nice, off the bat, no effort whatsoever, and just chill and kind of responded to your energy, and that was really sick. So much so that actually one of the bartenders I got to speak to quite a bit on the outside, who kind of helped me out as well. So big up that bartender on the outside who helped me out. You know who you are, absolute boss. And yeah, brilliant. So Lofi itself, the location was pretty far outside the city center. That's how it works allegedly. Most of the clubs are not in the inner ring; they're on the outside, which is, I guess, easy to kind of go to, locate. When we got out the station to walk towards Lofi, we saw that club called Brett that I want to go to. I think I saw loads of really great videos about Brett during ADE Festival. So I really, really want to go to Brett. It looks like an incredible little space. It kind of looks like a shed, and it's got this little balcony, canopy sort of area bit, and loads of, I think, leaves hanging from the roof. It looks fucking sick, so I really want to go to Brett. So Brett is actually on the station towards your way to go to Lofi. And then the Lofi, when we were walking down there, it kind of felt like, it reminded me a little bit of Canning Town. It reminded me a lot of like on the way to go to Fold. Had that kind of vibe. Like it kind of looked like places where that'll be where there's postal centers, warehouses, bus garages. You know, it kind of looked like that. A bit industrial, a bit of a mix of things. Then as we started to walk towards Lofi, there was this amazing coffee shop, a weed shop that we saw. Massive coffee shop. It looked like a jewelry store. It could have easily been a store where they sell flipping diamonds, jewelry, gold, whatever else it may be. But it was just all weed. The guys behind the counter were wearing fucking white lab coat type things. They had weed in these glass cabinets. Like, just amazing. They had security guards with like a velvet rope at the front. Fucking fantastic. Wish I had the time to go in there, but we didn't. And then, of course, as we went a bit further up, we found Lofi, which is kind of like in the middle of nowhere, really, to be fair. I think it was kind of near like a motorway, essentially. That's where we found it. Pretty easy system to get in. No real big hassle, really. You queue up, and the lady scans your car, scans your ticket, QR, whatever majiggy, and then you go to a security who then searches the bag and searches you. No hassle there, really. And as soon as you get in, they have like a little table with a lady, and there's a little sticker there where you can scan to access the locker system. So it works the same as Fold. So I'm assuming Fold and these places have copied all these European places. So it's a self-service locker system. I think the small lockers were €6. Big lockers were €9. I chucked all my shit in the €9 one. When I went on my big up Gaye B or Cali B. Yes, just started, brother. Just started 14 minutes ago. When I went, actually, I just took a backpack with me, which was really nice, by the way. Traveling with just a backpack is stupendous, especially for someone like myself, because I'm one of those freaks who, when I go to Berlin for the weekend or any other European trip for the weekend, and by weekend I mean like from Friday to Monday, I will usually check in luggage. Yeah, I'm that sort of freak. I'm that sort of a freak where I will usually check in luggage. So I'll take like 3 pairs of shoes, 2 jackets, crazy amount of outfits and shit in my checked luggage and take that. So it was quite nice to go to the airport without having to lug some luggage with me. So I just had the backpack, and that was basically it. Actually, Bobby came completely, my friend came completely really lightly packed. He just had like a little side bag with just like a rolled up t-shirt and some toiletries, and that was it. So I probably could have done that, but I did sneak another pair of shoes and an outfit in the backpack as well, which was, again, was what it was, but whatever. Went to the locker area, able to change my shirt, change my socks quickly, put different shoes on that I thought were more comfortable when I was walking around. The off-white black Air Force Ones and shit. And then, yeah, was just raving out until the end. The space Lofi itself was really cool. It's a lot smaller than what it looks like on the pictures, by the way. A lot smaller. But the pictures make it look super, super huge, but it's not that big. I think that they use a telephoto lens or something. But one thing I really did like about the space Lofi is is how they did the floor, the main floor. The main floor had these like platforms, which made it look like a soccer stadium, kind of, or like a lower league soccer stadium. So there's a main floor, and then around the floor there are these platforms, usually like two step platforms. And then at the back behind the DJ, there's like a 3-step platform. And what that did is that if you were standing on the side, you could always see the DJ. So I think they might have done it for, I'm not sure if they did it because of a view, to give you a view to see the DJ if you're standing on the side, or if it's more so for pictures. Because if you take a picture of it, it looks really cool too, because it kind of looks like the DJ is like inside of a Coliseum type of thing. But you can always see the booth from any angle you are, and there's nothing covering the DJ booth either. It's completely bare, so you can see the light, the LEDs illuminating the DJ as they're playing. So that was pretty sick. The smoke machine was going off all freaking night. Some people were complaining about that, but I loved it, to be fair. I love a good enthusiastic smoke machine. The lights and LEDs were going off as well. That was fucking fun. I love that. There was bare chill out areas as well. There's a chill out area towards the back, which is inside some cage. That kind of reminded me of like Trésor. That was quite cool. There's a massive outdoor space that reminded me a little bit of the yard, with this little like canopy sort of thing, tent thing kind of covering it, and some heaters, benches everywhere. So the outside kind of reminded me of the yard and the cause, that kind of vibe, tables and benches everywhere. And they also had a little porter cabin with a kitchen selling like, you know, cheesy fries, and they got this croquette things that they eat over there, which is really tasty, and other bits and bobs in there, and chicken and shit and burgers. So that was pretty cool. So if you're hungry, you can do that. And there's also a porter cabin loos towards the far left. So if you don't want to go to the main toilets, which are upstairs, you can go to porter cabin loos. The main toilets were all unisex as well, which made the queuing super easy, I feel like, anyway. You didn't have to wait super long to go in, because, you know, there's usually groups of people going into one cubicle, you know, to do the multivitamins and shit. I was mainly on the weed all night, I'm not gonna lie, which was really good. I really did enjoy that. Being on the weed all night kind of was a different experience than what I'm used to, especially with the amounts of fucking copious amounts of multivitamins I did in the past. But I kind of felt like, because we were going to be on our feet all night, I couldn't crash, I couldn't peak too early like I usually tend to do or like to do. So I thought the weed would be a good substitute, and it actually was. It actually was a really good substitute. I was happy about that. Ended up buying a random sativa joint from a coffee shop somewhere randomly. Anyone, there's literally loads in the city center. You just keep walking and you'll find loads. Some of the coffee shops are essentially just a really bare store with like one table, like it looks like a hood shop. And some coffee shops are really fancy. The one I went to get the joint was a little bit in the middle. They had tables and, you know, regular people just smoking, sitting down and shit. They also served coffee, obviously. They had some munchies, I think some cakes and shit that you could buy. And I also saw that they had, I think it's hemp on the table, which is pretty cool. They have this big jar of like free hemp that you can mix your weed in, because I guess that's what they smoke their weed with. They don't mix it with tobacco like we do here in the UK. So that was pretty sick to go see. And yeah, that was it really. Smoked my joint a couple hours. I think I had a toke every couple of hours or so. And then by the end of the night, I kind of had a little bit left, like maybe like a thumb size, the top of my thumb size left of the joint that I smoked outside of the flipping train station before we headed to the airport. And that was pretty decent, and I was pretty much okay apart from that. The only thing that really did hurt, I have to be honest, were my feet. Being on my feet all day like that, not having any ability to lie down, to chill, put my, you know, whatever, you know, that was what killed me, I think. Being on my feet for 30 hours was a lot, but it was really fun. Really fucking fun. Dixon absolutely killed it. It was really cool to see him play again all night. Last time we got to see him play, I can't even remember. Might have been like East Village. It might have been East Village. It might have been some studio somewhere, so I'm not too sure. But regardless, I'm not seeing him, I don't think, play all night long for a while. And what he tends to do all night long is that he's the master of playing long sets. That's kind of what he's known for, apart from being voted, you know, RA DJ of the Year 4 times in a row. He's also known for playing like long extended sets. That kind of scene he comes from in Berlin, where you play 4 hours or more. It's like I think 4 hours or no, I think 3 hours. Oh no, I think actually 4 hours is a short set. They mostly play like 6 hours and plus, so they're fucking beasts. So he's really good at that in terms of like, you know, you get slowly building up a set and making it feel like a journey, a musical exploration. It never feels boring. He always knows how to kind of pull and push you, pull and push you. Just as you're kind of lulling, you'll then start spiking it up again. And one thing he did really well this time, particular set, I think he purposely had the volume low. Even though I think the volume overall, my only slight criticism of Lofi is the volume. It felt like the volume was slightly low. You had to go a little bit towards the front to kind of hear it loud, which was a little bit concerning. But Dixon also played with it a lot too. And then once it hit like 12-ish to 1, he really cranked up the volume and the vibes, and it started to go fucking off. It started to fill up a little bit more as well. And basically by the end of the night, it was kind of full on the main dance floor. There was still some room behind the back. I think they said eventually, I think Dixon said on his page that it was 1,500 people there, but it didn't feel like that much. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't feel like it was that much people. Or if there was way more room in there. They could have fitted way more people in there. But it is what it is. The only slight criticism I'd say again is this: the toilets in the nightclub are up some very steep stairs. The toilets in the nightclub are at the top of some very steep stairs. So I don't know. Like, luckily we weren't really that fucked. You know, I was only on the weed and shit, so I kept it kind of nice and cute. Couple of beers here and there. But God forbid if you were on some multivitamins or anything else and you had to walk up or down those stairs after having a little bit of a session of toilets. Oh my God. Oh my God. Especially us Brits. Especially us Brits who are already out of control, crazy, have no chill, have no middle ground, have no first gear. I cannot imagine the amount of falls, the amount of trips, the amount of cascades, the amount of tumbles that have occurred on those fucking stairs. Because those stairs at Lofi are so steep. Like, so steep. Steep to a point where you have to hold the rails. And usually if you hold the rails, you feel like an old person, but you have to hold them because they're super steep. And they're covered in people's beer jizz. You know, it's absolutely crazy. But apart from that, but of course, if you don't want to use them, you can always go outside to the port cabin and use those ones or Portaloos and shit. So it isn't too shabby. Again, had a fucking blast. Left, obviously, when the club finished. Ended up just walking back to the station really slowly, talking to some randoms on the way, and then obviously got the plane back home. Slept a bit in the train station. No, slept a bit in the airport before we got the plane, which is a bit of a vibe, not gonna lie. And then of course slept another bit again on the plane, and then got home, and I was just dead. But mostly my feet. I think my body and everything else was perfectly fine, but my feet were aching so fucking bad. And that's when I started to think, oh my God, professional DJs, no wonder they go a bit crazy. No wonder they're a little bit all over the place, a little bit loopy and not normal. Like, traveling like that all the time is not very healthy. And again, we were doing it the hard way. We didn't have a hotel. We didn't really sit down for that long, apart from when we went to go eat some buns and shit. But for the most part, we were on our feet walking around. But I still think, like, DJs' careers are fucking brutal. Really fucking brutal to be traveling that much. So I think my dreams, aspiration to become a DJ, I need to kind of temper them and kind of think, okay, I would rather be a sometime DJ, an influencer DJ. You put on your own events, you might play at some cool parties here and there, but being on the circuit, touring regularly, yo, I'm not built for that. I ain't built for that in the slightest, because I was dead after that one trip. Imagine, as Dixon, I think the next day he was traveling to Colombia or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, God forbid. God fucking forbid. But I quickly want to show you some pictures of my time over there so you can get a kind of a vibe of what occurred whilst I was out there in Amsterdam. So we went to this one restaurant where they serve these buns. I guess this is like an Amsterdam staple. They usually put croquettes inside them. I wish I took a picture of the croquette ones, but unfortunately, I completely destroyed them. I was so hungry. I literally swallowed those 2 buns. I think I had 3 in total. I had 2 with croquettes, I think with beef, and 1 with liver croquette. And then the other one, I had this salt beef one. So I couldn't take a picture of it. But essentially what they do, they make like a really large croquette. It's a bit different from what you'd get if you lived in Spain. I think the coating is way more crispier, and it's longer as well. And then they slice it down the middle, and then they put both halves on either side of the bread. And you're meant to cover it in mustard or something else, whatever they use. And you eat it like that, and it's really tasty. Really hot though, but really tasty. And they're made to order. And then they also serve these type of meats in there, cold cut meats like roast beef, salt beef. This one was salt beef, and then they also have a chicken stew gravy thing that they put in the baps. So that was pretty tasty. All really cheap as well. I think altogether we had 6, so that's 3 each, and I think Bobby paid like 30 something euros. So 6 baps or 6 buns with meat inside them and croquettes for 30 something euros, which is a pretty decent price, I feel like. So that was really nice, and the ladies in there were super chill and nice as well. And then walking around the city, like I said before, I thought the city was incredibly beautiful, very picturesque, like a great place, a great freaking place for a romantic getaway. I would say even better than Paris. Maybe the only thing that's rivaling the beauty of Amsterdam in terms of how it looks in terms of Europe might be Prague. When I went to Prague, I was like, okay, this is definitely a good date city. And when you looked around, you see a bunch of people always kissing each other and smooching. So I think Amsterdam and Prague are great cities if you want to take somebody out on a romantic date, especially with fucking Valentine's Day coming up. Definitely a great place to go, especially for the day. Great restaurants, especially along the canal. Place you can sit down, have some wine, you know, gaze into each other's eyes and shit. Hold hands, like really nice place. And it's really small. It's really fucking small to fucking walk around in as well. The only thing you have to watch out for is a cyclist. The cyclists do not fucking play in Amsterdam. The amount of times I got beeped at, the amount of times I got, hey, 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 oh, was crazy. The cyclists do not fucking play in Amsterdam. Keep out of their way. You know, check your shoulders like you're fucking prime Iniesta. Don't be in the cycle lane, because if you are, they will let you know. They will let you know. I guarantee you. Then we got some random street art here, just to kind of show you Wagwan. The roads on this type of place where we were in the center of Amsterdam, sorry, reminded me of a street in London here called Carnaby Street. Very similar. That's why I took the picture, really, to be fair. But yeah, not much graffiti on the buildings too. Very different to Berlin. The reason why I think Berlin is also quite dirty and disgusting is that, I don't know about you guys, but when I used to do a bit of graffiti, right? Very cringe, I know. But when I used to do a bit of graffiti, when I used to get up, right? When I used to put my when I used to do my throw-ups in places, it was well-known rule established within the graffiti community that you would never, grass someone's house. That wasn't what you do. Or residential properties, right? You'd always do them on like random build, but not people's homes. So it was always weird when you go to Berlin and you see somebody's front door. It's just covered in graffiti. That's so fucking weird. So the good thing about Amsterdam is that there's no graffiti on like people's houses. There's graffiti in places that there should be, like inside, outside this kind of wooden structure that's, protecting a space where they're probably building something. That makes more sense, as opposed to just randomly spray painting it on somebody's, residence. It doesn't make sense at all. So that was quite cool. Continuing on, here's my joint that I had, that I bought from the coffee shop. They store them, the pre-rolls they store in these really nice cones that are easy to handle and transport with and stuff. And the lid is really secure too. The one I've got here on the screen was about 10 euros. And it was about the size of my hand. And it's completely full of weed. No tobacco. No tobacco, no nothing. No mixer, no nothing. Just straight marijuana. Straight ganja to the head top, which was a lot for me to take. As someone that doesn't smoke at all or that much, it was a lot. But it was fun. It was a lot, but it was fun. So that was only 10 euros. They did have €5 options, but they didn't have them in stock, which I don't believe them, to be fair. I think because they saw me as a tourist, they would rather sell me a 10 euro joint than sell me a €5 joint. But I would have bought 2. If they had €5 ones, I would have bought 2, but they only had the 10 euro ones allegedly. And this was the sativa one. So happy that I got it anyway. And I was a bit of a dork. I asked one of the people there, can I ask you about the rules? Like, where is it legal to smoke? And the guy looked at me like I was a fucking psycho. I was like, is it legal to smoke in the... He's like, what? And then eventually the girl kind of saw what I was saying. I was like, yeah, just don't smoke in a red light district. So I guess it's not illegal to smoke in the street. I don't know why. I think I heard from some people tell me that you're not allowed to smoke on the streets, but you can smoke in the coffee shops. Allegedly. That's what I heard. But from what that guy in the coffee shop told me, you can smoke anywhere, just not in the red light district. Not sure if that's true, but take what I said with a pinch of salt. Maybe do your own research, but that's what I heard. And then, of course, random picture of a warehouse window, or what do you call it? Contents on the way to Lofi. And then this is the inside of Lofi in the club itself. As I mentioned before, the platform areas are around the edges, as you can see here. There are people like up that are a bit higher up on the back, a bit higher up here at the back, at the sides, and they're on the side as well. So it creates this really cool kind of Colosseum effect. And you could just about faintly see Dixon there, his head. You could just about faintly see him there, which created a really cool effect. When you go in there, they tell you you're not allowed to take any flash photography. You can record, you can take pictures, just no flash photography, which is really good. Other people as well were keeping people on top of it. If someone had their flash on, somebody would touch them and say, hey, turn your flash off. So I think that was a really good rule. I'm not gonna lie. There were people recording. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this one. I'm not sure if the no photos thing works for every club. I think this approach might work for London clubs, you know. Just tell people, yes, you can take pictures, just no flash photography, no flash filming. And it was very well behaved. No one was annoying you with their cameras. People were recording when they went to record, and they were dancing when they went to dance, but it was fairly tame in terms of, maybe it's the people there are a bit different, but I feel like that kind of rule would probably work here in London, because I think the no photo policy in London, people get very possessive about their phone. They get very angry if you tell them they can't take pictures, even though it's a better experience, don't get me wrong. I think the middle ground might be this approach. You can take pictures, just don't take the piss, no flashes, no fucking lights or whatever, and it's all good. And it worked out pretty fine over there. So big up Amsterdam for doing that. And then of course, this is me absolutely trying to keep my eyes open. As you can tell, I'm kind of crying, I think, through the picture. You can kind of tell that I have tears running in the inside of my face. I'm struggling to keep my eyelids up. I'm very tired there. And maybe the joint is taking effect. And this is the stairs of the toilet. So the toilets are up here at the top of the stairs. Down below is the main floor of the club. And this is how steep they are. I think you can see it via the picture. Every guy here that you can see in the clip, in the actual picture, is holding on to the fucking banister. Is holding on to the railings. Every person is holding on to the railings going up. So that tells you how hard it was to climb the stairs. And the stairs were covered, like I said, in people's beer jizz. And there was no grip on the edges. Usually stairs have like little grips, little like pebble things on the edges, but there was no grip. So if you did slip, you were tumbling all the way down. So I don't know why they have the fucking toilets right at the top of those stairs. But if you're on multivitamins, if you're on the adult multivitamins and you drop, you are going to cause yourself a lot of injury. So be aware, if you're going to get the adult multivitamins, maybe go outside to the portal cabin toilets, or maybe just watch your step, because those stairs are very, 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 very unforgiving. And then of course, here's a picture of me at the end, walking out of Lofi, heading towards the station, looking very happy and actually looking very fresh. You can tell that I wasn't caning it, because usually when I'm caning it on the multivitamins, I won't take any pictures of myself anyway because I look fucked up. But I can definitely tell from this picture that I wasn't caning it as much. I was on the fucking, I was on the Ganja Express, drinking a couple of pints here and there, and that was about it. Only slight thing concerns or to mention, if I'm gonna be honest, the price of drinks are pretty crazy. I think so. It wasn't even a pint of beer. It was like the regular mini tin of, I'd say mini tin. It was like a can of Coke sized beer in a plastic cup. And they charged you, hold on, was it 12 euros? I think it might have been 12 euros, because I got myself a beer and I bought my friend a Red Bull. And I think I paid like 12 euros. I think that's a lot. I'm not sure if everyone else thinks that's not a lot, but I thought that was a lot of money, man. 12 euros for a beer and a can of Red Bull. Like, god damn, man. These motherfuckers had me. Let me actually check my Revolut quickly. Let's see if I'm mistaken. Was it what I thought it was, or am I mistaken? Yeah, 12 euros. Life over future. That's Lo-Fi. So I paid 12 euros for a drink and a Red Bull, which might have been a lot of money. I feel like it's a lot of money. But regardless, we were there, had fun. It's all good. It's all freaking good. And of course, I've got some clips here to show you. This is taken from the Arm to Dixon fan page. I ripped some clips on here. Arm to Dixon's a great Innovision fan page, mostly centered around Arm and Dixon, obviously, but it's covering all of the Innovision artists and extended family. They do a good job of kind of recapping the night's events. People usually send them clips, and they post them on their Instagram story, so it's all time sensitive, of course. So I was able to pull some of the clips from there by screen recording some shit. So I'm going to play you a video here that features some clips of Dixon playing at Lo-Fi, and you get an understanding of what the vibe was, because unfortunately I couldn't record anything. No, unfortunately or fortunately. I think fortunately, I couldn't record anything because my phone battery had run out, and I went to charge it. So I didn't have it basically in my hand the whole night. But which obviously helped me to kind of dance, have a good time, talk to people and shit. Because everybody I met on the dance floor, you all were fucking legends and super safe. But obviously people that were there were recording some clips and they were able to capture what happened. So I'll give you a brief little check of what happened here vis-a-vis this compilation of video courtesy of Dixon. Let's freaking go. One of my favorite songs of the night, one of my favorite songs of the night. If anyone has a tune ID for this particular song, it was like a ballet funk mix, like, sounded fucking phenomenal. It sounded like an orchestra. It sounded like a fucking orchestra in there. Yes, big up Ashley Cummins in the chat. Big up Ashley Cummins. Yes, I like his outfit. The funny thing is, I discovered this DJ primarily because of his outfit. I'm not embarrassed to say, primarily for his outfit. Like, so back in the day, I don't know, this must have been like 2010, 2015. I don't know when it was. I was obviously just getting into this type of music and started to DJ myself. And I think he was the first DJ that I saw wearing like Comme des Garçons shirt. So Comme des Garçons shirt is the Comme des Garçons sub-label or diffusion brand. They do a lot of cool button-up shirts, a lot of cool trousers. It's mostly aimed towards the youth and kids, but a lot of, adults wear it and shit. And I think I saw him wearing a Comme des Garçons shirt. And I was like, oh shit, this is sick, innit? And usually DJs back then were wearing what they wear now. Loads of black, loads of big O-necks, and loads of fucking drop crotch pants. But he was wearing a Comme des Garçons shirt. I was like, oh my god, sick. So even until this day, Dixon is one of the most well-dressed, I feel like, DJs, because he has his own personal style. He's not just only wearing black or Rick Owens. He's always wearing different brands, from Heron Preston to, Bottega Veneta, to his own brand, and loads of other things in between, which is really cool to see. So his fashion is a big part of his identity. Big up Mazza, the DJ is Dixon. The DJ is Dixon from Innovision. Dixon from Innovision. Oh yeah, and by the way, big up the Lofi for the booth design. The booth design in Lofi is fucking incredible. So it looks really close. Like when you see the pictures from the other angles, it seems like everybody's on top of him. But they do a good job of like kind of cordoning off the area around the DJ booth, so there's space so he could move and do his thing. And even if you're standing on the platforms at the back, you can kind of see everything he's doing, but you're not super close in terms of kind of disturbing or encroaching on his space. So it's really well designed from a pictures point of view, videos point of view, and just from a dancing point of view. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we'll stop it there quickly, and I'm going to head over to Dixon's Instagram because he's got an actual better video of the roundup of what happened there. So big up Dixon. Let's actually go to his Instagram. He's got a good little roundup clip here. Where is it? Somewhere around here. Where's his Instagram? Where's his Instagram? Okay, cool. I don't have it. Don't have it open already? I thought I had it open already. Cool. There it is. Yeah, Dixon's Instagram is here. He's got a really cool roundup of what happened here. I think it might be, no, I think it's the other square there actually. This one right here. Big up Blood Clot Dixon. You love to fucking see it. So he's got a really cool roundup clip or post on his Instagram where he kind of summarizes what happened. So let's quickly go through that. This is the post here with his arms wide open. 1,500 people, 7 hours, one DJ, house music in its purest form. Thank you for riding this journey. So I don't know if I'd even call it, maybe that's what he's calling it, house music, but I don't know. Maybe that's the best way to describe it, because I hate subgenres. I'm not gonna lie. I hate all this subgenre shit. It's so confusing and annoying to keep up with. So maybe the best way to describe what he plays is house music. Maybe just say it's house music, so it's kind of all encompassing. So let's actually get a clip to see what he actually played here. Okay, next clip. Oh, June. Look at that LED light display. So cool. Oh. So yeah, big up Dixon, man. As you can see via the picture, again, an amazingly designed club, really well done with such a small space. They've really kind of squeezed as much out of it as possible. The platforms are such a simple idea, but it works so well. And also big up Amsterdam, because if this was London, someone will charge for you to go in that back bit. So the platforms at the back where you can see people are standing, this kind of raised section. If that was London, that would be a section that they would charge more for. It's the same price. You just walk up the platforms and you can stand there if you want to and see the back of Dixon, see him doing all these things, he's DJing in the booth. It's fucking sick. So, and I also think it makes for great pictures too. As you can see here, you get this amazing picture with Dixon here in the foreground and these shadowy figures of people's arms and heads in the background going fucking crazy. I loved every minute of it. Really fucking cool. Great night out. Can't wait to go back again to Amsterdam and rave. And yeah, everybody out there was fucking super fun, super friendly. He fucking killed it. The club is fucking amazing. Sound system is really good too. So I recommend, if you are looking for a place to go to switch things up, please consider going to Blood Clot Amsterdam.